Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. Anyway, we want to update everybody about our weekend.
I know, in the Mansfield Reformatory, which was so
Well, everybody probably
fun.
saw our Instagram and TikTok.
Of course.
But we want to recap it here, too.
It was literally so fun.
I know, it really was. We were terrified with our touch passes.
I know, especially when nobody else was getting them.
Yeah, we were in the first group, the 7 o'clock group, and there were a lot of people in there, and not many had the glow sticks like us, which indicated a touch pass. So we were feeling a little scared.
We were.
And then when we walked in, the lady was like, if it gets too much, you can just rip it off. And then we were like, oh.
Like, does that happen?
But they touched you.
Oh my gosh, they did. Which was fun because it like made it extra scary to be bumped. But they were like grabbing us, whipping us, poking at the back of our legs.
Yeah, and they tried to pull us apart multiple times. And we were like two sisters being ripped apart in like a hostage situation or something. Like we were terrified.
I know, because it's like, and it was so dark. And then when you're like walking and stuff, they would like turn the lights off even more.
Yeah. The worst parts were when we were going by where like the cells were, and it was literally pitch black.
Yeah, and you didn't know someone's gonna jump out. Literally.
And they always did jump out, but it would be like when you're 3/4 of the way through, so you didn't expect it the whole time. Oh, and that was horrible. Like we couldn't see it. You were like walking funny with your legs out. You said.
Like feeling with my legs. Like, where are they?
We can't, because neither of us can see in the dark very well. So it was just a bad situation for us. And we were clung to each other the whole time.
We were literally Sue and Elizabeth.
We were
one monster.
If people didn't know any better, they would have thought we were one person walking by. And the girl in front of us was the biggest wet blanket.
Unbothered, not scared.
Well, we think she just hated us because
I know. It's like I didn't want to be annoying, but like we were genuinely scared. Like none of that was fake.
We were screaming like the whole time, and then like they would chase you and like come up behind you and stuff, and then so then we'd be like really close to her, and I didn't like. I mean, not that I paid attention to her the whole time, but like I never saw her like flinch,
nothing,
or jump or scream or anything.
I'm like, why'd you even go?
Yeah,
and I get like sometimes people just aren't scared of jump scares, but it's like, then why are you at this?
Yeah, like, what's the point then? But yeah, we definitely felt that if you're going to do it, get the touch pass.
I know, because it's so fun.
And it makes you feel special.
I know, because it was like they were always picking on us.
Yeah, and it was basically like we were the only ones that existed.
In the group, because they like had it like...
Yeah.
How many were in it? Like 15, 20?
Yeah, probably about. And in our group, we were the only ones.
And so the touch passes. And it's like you could tell when they spotted you.
Yeah. And we were at the very end. So it was basically like everybody got ignored except for us.
Flips hair. I know. I kind of loved it.
I know.
The attention.
By these monsters. But it was really cool, and we wish that we could see it in the daylight.
I know, because it was so like, I mean, there was a point where it was like you were walking through like an army base and like hospital stuff, and I mean the props were pretty good.
They look good. I know, and I mean I'm sure in the overhead lighting it doesn't look as creepy as it would in the dark like that with all the different lights, but it still would be interesting to see all the details.
I know.
Because there were so many things we just totally missed.
I know. And they even had like a tanker.
Yeah.
And then like it made it look like it was outside
Yeah,
with like
so
plants
cool.
And I mean, it was just awesome.
And then
did
pictures. You see that airplane too?
Yeah, like
that
the
was
crashed
awesome.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where did they put all this? And we weren't sure if they had it up all the time.
Yeah.
Or if they put it away, but I think probably they put it somewhere.
Because the reformatory is really big, but our tour, I wish we would have timed it, but it was probably about 45 minutes because they tell you 40 to 50. So it was
a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, even to the point where we were like, okay.
Yeah, we were,
no
I mean, literally, we were probably like 10, 15 minutes in and we're like, oh my God.
This is so much.
Yeah. And then in between the different like sections, I guess, or if we would like go up or downstairs or something, we would kind of get like a small break and be almost in like a holding area. But that would literally only last like 2 minutes max.
Yeah, and it almost seemed like it was to like let the group in front of you like get a little further ahead.
Yeah, but at the one point, that was when we heard that there were 10 minutes left and we're like, oh my God.
Still more.
Yeah.
That's so long.
I know.
And then they had like food trucks and stuff outside.
It was
hot
nice.
cider.
So we obviously got some snacks and some cider because we deserved it after that.
We really did.
I was telling some people about it and I don't know. I mean, I guess I forget that not everybody has the same interests.
I know. It's always like, oh.
Because they're like, why would you want to do that? I'm like, what do you mean? There were hundreds. And they're like, were there a lot of people there? Yeah, there were like thousands of people. Probably from when was the last one? I don't even know.
I think it was late, like 11 or something.
Like, if the last round was like 11 o'clock and it went on by half-hour increments, that's huge amount of groups.
I know, and there was a ton of people there, and it was such a fun way to end the spooky season.
Yeah, it really was.
Even when I told people before we even went that we got the touch pass, they're like gave me the weirdest looks.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I make a mistake?
Or did I stutter? Like, yeah, I got the touch pass.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. I would never do it without the touch pass now.
I know.
I mean, it's only an extra $7 for that like VIP experience.
For that kind of attention. Like,
hello. I'll pay anything. But yeah, it was really cool. I would definitely go next year too.
I know. I definitely want to go back because it was fun.
I know it was fun, but I just fear that, like, I mean, we could go ourselves. That would still be fun. But like, you know, we don't really have a group. I think, like, I just think that the two of us have such a good experience because we're both into it. Then if we brought other people in, like, would it add to the experience for us or take away? And I don't know the answer.
I know, because it would be fun if there's like, I don't know, a group of 5 or something. We all had the touch pass and then we didn't know who was going to get grabbed.
Right, yeah.
But if they're not into it, like if they're like that girl that was in front of us.
Yeah, total lame-o.
It'd be like, why aren't you having fun? And then it's like, if it's your idea and somebody's not having fun, it's like, die.
I know. You feel horrible. So, but yeah, if anybody is in Ohio listening, next year, put it on your list to go. Actually, they did have a Christmas one.
I meant to look that up, like what exactly that was.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the whole as big as they called it the Blood Prison, or if it's a smaller thing, but that seemed like kind of cool too. But I can't imagine it would be as big.
I know, I wouldn't think so unless...
Because how many Christmas theme rooms are they going to do? I mean, we went up and down all over the reformatory.
Literally, I couldn't even tell you where we were.
Yeah. I would love to see a map. of it.
I know, like where we went, because it just felt like we just kept, and like half the time too, we were getting like pushed forward.
Yeah, we were.
So we were like flying through some of it.
I understand why we had to sign waivers. I mean, I understand for the touch passes, obviously, but for just to get a ticket, you have to sign a waiver too. And I totally understand why, because there were parts where like, I mean, you could fall or you could hurt yourself.
There's like steps and everything, and you're like walking in the dark. They didn't really mess with us on the steps.
No.
But still,
there was one time when, I mean, we were both fine because we were clinging to each other, but I think you like tripped a little bit or something, and one of the scares were there and they were like, you're not supposed to trip in their creepy voice. Or one other time they were like, watch your step, and I just thought that was kind of nice that they still are looking out for your safety.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm like, I didn't feel like violated or anything. I felt very like,
even though we got fingers in our ears,
blowed on, whipped
with something we don't know what
exactly it was. But yeah, no, I felt like everybody was like, they were having fun too.
Yeah. So 10 out of 10 for sure.
Loved it.
Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly. And I'm Lori.
Join three middle-aged, middle-class Jersey Shore housewives as we spill the wine and the tea on everything from Bravo's hottest shows to life's everyday drama and entertainment news. I'm the redhead. I'll bring the spice.
I'm the brunette. I'll bring the humor.
I'm the blonde. I'll bring the fun.
It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's always real talk from your favorite trio. Whether it's relationships, parenting, or pop culture, We Wine Whenever has you covered.
We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Tune in for Cocktail Hour with the crew at We Wine Whenever, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
So this is a weird thing. I told you I was going to Target before I got here, and I'm on the phone with my dad. We're just chatting, and I got a little cart, and I'm just going over to like the bath section, and I hear somebody up over the intercom, and at first I thought it was just like, sometimes they do those like random little announcements, right? But then I heard evacuate, and I was like, okay, I think I need to listen to this. And then she's like, I repeat, there is an emergency in the store that has caused for all patrons to evacuate immediately. Please make your way to the nearest exit. Oh, no. And I was like, what? And then there were these two girls that looked to be probably about in college that kind of came, and then they were in front of my aisle, and they're like, is this real? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I think so. She's like, the girl doesn't sound like it's any sense of urgency at all. We're like, well, I don't know. Like, let's just go. So we all go to the front, and you can see everybody else around us is like, what's going on? People are just like leaving their carts full of stuff. We get to the front, and all the employees are up by the door, like making sure people leave. One is like on the phone. I don't know what she's saying. And then we walk out. I'm still on the phone with my dad. He's like, get out of there. You don't know
Literally
what is going on. I'm like, I am getting out of there, but I'm not like running. Like, I don't hear any screaming or, there's no rustle or anything like that. So then I get out, and then I hear sirens, and then police, fire, ambulance show up, and there's like 6 vehicles that come outside of Target, and I have no idea what happened.
You don't know?
No, like it was so weird.
Ew, that's tricky, and it's just like you never know these
I know.
days.
Like it did. And then the one girl was like, maybe somebody had a medical emergency. I'm like, yeah, that maybe. I mean, it's kind of weird that they would evacuate everybody, but I don't know. Or like maybe it was serious. Like maybe somebody like had a heart attack and they're like,
that's what I was thinking,
dying or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it did kind of freak me out a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stick around. Like, I'm going to get out of here.
Bye, peace out.
Yeah, because you just don't know.
Literally.
And then my dad's like, are you in the parking lot? Get away from the building. Like, I am. But and then everybody's kind of just standing out there like, what do? We just left all of our stuff. Yeah.
So did other people end up leaving, or they were just like waiting?
Yeah, I mean, people around me were leaving. I felt bad because there was a couple that had like 2 young kids that were in like car seats, like baby age. And that's like a whole big thing. Like, it's not easy to just quickly pack that stuff up. And they were inside the store and then having to get everything into their car. So they left like immediately. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can like ever find out what happened or not. I'll check the news, but I don't know. It was just so bizarre. Like, I've never experienced that before.
Or like, was somebody robbing it, or like,
yeah.
But even then, it doesn't seem like
they would evacuate
everybody.
I know, and you hate to think the worst case scenario, but I didn't hear anything.
Right.
You know, that's what made me
like, what is
think that.
Is there like a gas leak? Like,
yeah, I mean, I have no idea. And everybody, like the girl that came over the intercom was very calm, but I mean, you should be.
Right.
Like, you don't want to induce panic.
Get out!
Yeah. Everybody, for the love of God. Yeah. So, I don't know. If I find out what happened, I'll tell you. But it was just really strange.
That is weird.
I know. So,
spooky.
Also, pivot. I finished Nobody Wants This.
Oh yeah.
And do I think that it needs a season 2? Well, there was one way that it was kind of seeming like it was going to end that would have been more of a cliffhanger. And that would make sense for a season 2. The way that they had this one end, it almost was like, no, let's make it more so that we're not sure. Like,
yeah, and it definitely seemed that way when they were talking about it.
So, and I guess like it's silly to make a show not like thinking, yeah, we're definitely going to be picked up. But just the way that it ended felt really... Like, it felt, the last episode felt very much like a Ryan Murphy production where everything was just rushed into the last episode.
We started filming before we got the ending figured out.
Because they put everything into the last episode. I mean, there were like 3 plot changes within one, like, 35-minute episode. They're not even long. So, I mean, now we know there's definitely going to be a season 2, and I guess it'll just be a continuation of season 1 in basically every way. But I was listening to The Town, and they were talking about how, I don't know, I kind of wanted to look into this more, but I guess stuff with like directing and stuff, there was some drama on set that maybe the person didn't or wasn't like as knowledgeable as maybe they should have been, and there was maybe some tension, and so somebody else has taken over completely for season 2, and I wonder if that's gonna make changes with the whole vibe.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then
it's amazing how that kept pretty quiet.
I know, like I didn't hear that at all until I heard it on that podcast. And then I wonder if that has anything to do with Aaron Foster and the writing too, because they're definitely, I mean, you kind of take it for what it is, like one of those rom-com shows, but the writing wasn't great, honestly. I mean, there were plot holes.
I wonder if she's written anything before.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Like anything that got a lot of traction.
It didn't really seem like it, but I could be wrong.
Who are those girls, like Sarah Foster and Aaron Foster? Because I feel like they keep like circulating around.
Didn't they used to have a show on E back in the day?
I don't remember.
I thought that they did.
Yeah, The Sisters Behind.
Are both of them involved?
Yeah, I thought they both were.
I thought it was just Aaron, but yeah, I thought
movies and shows.
I thought that they did have their own show back in the day.
Because they were Gigi Hadid's stepsons.
Yeah. Because they're David Foster's daughters, right?
Yeah, so they must.
And their show was like something Foster, I think. Like Growing Up Foster or something.
They have this David Foster off the record thing, but
that they made or that they were in?
That they were in with the dad. Or is it this? Barely Famous?
Oh, yeah, there we go. I think that was it. Maybe. Was that just about them?
Oh, yeah, reality show about their careers.
There we go. Was that on E?
VH1.
Oh, okay. Well, I was a little off, but
it wasn't that. Oh, never mind.
I don't think I ever watched
2015 to 2016 is a longer time ago. I was like, oh, that wasn't that long ago.
No, almost 10 years.
No.
But yeah, I mean, so I guess they've been in the creative field. I don't know a whole lot about
Nepo
them,
babies.
Though. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot, but it wasn't bad. It just, will I watch season 2? Most likely, but I won't rush to watch it. It'll be like I didn't rush to watch this.
Yeah, I definitely still want to watch it sometime this month.
I mean, for nothing else, watch it for Adam Brody.
The delight.
Yeah, he just is such a cutie.
Aww.
So I'm trying to think, did I do any other, like, I saw The Wicked is coming out in a couple weeks, and we haven't really talked about it. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts because I've been seeing a lot of press for it, and they're really hyping it up a lot.
They are. I know. When I first kind of heard it was coming out, I wanted me and my husband to take both our grandmas to go see it because I thought that'd be fun. But then when I suggested it to my grandma, she seemed very uninterested. Oh. She was like, I don't want to get scared. I'm like, first she said like, oh, is it going to be at this local theater?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, the movie. And she goes, well, I don't want to get scared. And I was like,
why would she get scared?
Why would you get scared? I was like, okay, I'll send you the trailer. So I guess that idea is kaput. But yeah, I did see something recently about like the casting for Glinda.
Mm-hmm.
And who else could have been it?
Who else?
I guess the names I saw were Blake Lively, which I could totally see. I think it's interesting that the Glinda, like Ariana Grande, looks so young.
Yeah.
Then Amanda Seyfried, which I think could have been
that could have been good too.
And then Dove Cameron. There's somebody else. But anyway, Ariana Grande
Amanda
got it.
Seyfried could have been.
I know. I thought
really,
that would have been a good one.
Because we haven't heard her sing in a little bit.
I know, and she's our go-to gal.
The one thing I was looking at for the press and stuff was
Renee Rapp was the other one.
Oh, that would have been a totally different vibe if
I
she
know.
would.
But maybe she is kind of evil-ish, it seems, in this story.
Is Glenda evil?
It seems like she's a little bit like
I've never seen
sassy.
the play.
I've never seen it either, but just like based on like the trailer, I'm like, oh, so maybe that could have worked.
Well, and I guess that doesn't she sing that popular song?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's kind of like
and
then
she
like
yourself tricks the Wicked Witch, the Green Witch.
Name is. Yeah, I don't know.
Can't remember what it is. And it's like, I would never wear this hat, but I would. And then she's like, you can't go without this hat. So she like tricks her, pranks her.
A little sneaky.
Yeah.
Well, I did see that they sang the whole thing live. Like,
cool.
While they were filming, they also sang.
Very Les Mis of them.
Yeah. And I mean, and that definitely does keep you as an actor in the moment, you know? And it's cool to think about that as a viewer. Like, wow. But I mean, I guess I kind of just like expect that level from a musical like that. Like, don't you?
Like,
I don't know.
It should be. Especially like after seeing Les Mis and how like, I don't want to say better that is than when you can kind of, because sometimes you can kind of tell. And I think if you're watching like a cheesy 2000s movie, it works. Whatever. But
then when it's something
if you're hiring
these powerhouses,
it's like if you're hiring Ariana Grande and you're gonna have her lip sync,
that's wrong. And sing it in the studio later. No, but I think it's kind of weird though with these plays that then come into movies, because you see these on Broadway and these actors are performing it live every single night right in front of you. And then I guess it's just I guess it totally opens up a new world when you see it in film, because they can do so many different things and with sets and everything that you can't do in theater. But it's just kind of weird, because then for them to be like, well, yeah, they're singing it live. It's like, well, they do it every night on Broadway.
Like, whoop-dee.
You know?
They should.
Especially
if you're hiring like all these theater people. Yeah. They better be.
But I've never been like a big theater person. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I just think that a musical to me sometimes just feels a little annoying. Like, I loved Les Mis, but sometimes I just don't like that like typical theater vibe. And so I don't think this is a movie that I'll be like going to see in theaters either.
Yeah, I like watching musicals, so I'll probably be there.
But not
without
with your
my grandma. Go figure. Fine,
I'll go by myself. Like, I'm sure it's gonna be good. But I just it always worries me a little bit when things like this get a ton of hype.
Well, and it's like, obviously Ariana Grande is very talented, but it would have been kind of cool to like see an actual theater person get like the opportunity to do this.
I agree.
Because it's like, I don't know. It's tough when you get like a big name. It's like she's acted, but not for a long time. Or like anything that's not like, because she was in that, what was it? Don't Look Up or whatever. And she was like playing herself
but kind of. Not this big of a role.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, how am I supposed to take out that's Ariana Grande, even though she's like significantly changed the way she looks
totally different. It is also weird too, like all the drama on set and stuff. That seems like so long ago now. They've been filming and in post-production for ages.
I know. And it's like, I seen this interview with Ethan Slater, and they're like, how does it feel to see the woman you love doing this thing? And I'm like, gosh, that's bold. But then I'm like, well, they've been together
for a while now. I mean, they're just out and about together.
No big deal, doing some press. And then I seen another video too where this fan was talking to him, and he's like, they're like, can you give this to Ariana? And he's like, yeah, I can, but I think she's coming. And it was just like, yeah, because you're going home with her later.
That fan wanted to make sure she got it. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how it ends up doing in the box office, because it
could go the other way, because sometimes it seems like when you have all that drama, it either gets people to go see it because they're curious, or it like does the exact opposite. But it's almost been so long that you kind of like. And she's had like an album come out.
Right. And they're doing such a big press tour with the releases. And I don't know why. I think this is just me being annoying. But, when like Zendaya goes all out for stuff, or when Blake Lively did or whatever, I'm like, oh, I love it. It's so great. But when I see this cast doing it, I'm like, oh, this has been done. Yeah, like I don't know why. Like I'm being such a little snob. But I mean, I think that can deter some people sometimes too. Not that this has the controversy that like Blake Lively's, flowers did, but
we all know.
Yeah, but you just never know,
I know. I actually really like what the other I'm trying to look up her name. Something.
Erivo. I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name.
Yeah, Erivo. I actually think I've been kind of liking the contrast with like what she's been wearing against Ariana Grande's thing.
I mean, they're very much in character.
They are. I don't know, I think it's been a little fun.
Well, and I do think it's fun. That's why I'm just being such a grouch about it for no reason at all. Like, why am I being that way?
I know, and Ariana Grande is such an interesting person.
I know.
It's like sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is fun. I like her. I like that she's kind of a diva. And then sometimes I'm like,
I know sometimes it turns
diva.
me off. I know. I think it's just her that I'm kind of like.
She definitely comes across, like, I think just she grew up privileged and like has just always been the center of attention type thing. And then she just like lives like that. And then it's like when you're famous, of course, you're the center of attention and she's very successful and everything. So I think it's just like, just things seem like easy.
Yeah.
For her, kind of, even though she's had some scandal.
Yeah, she has had to work, but it it feels like she can do anything and like, oh, well, it's going to work out,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But whatever. I love that they're doing that as a Thanksgiving release.
I know. I thought that was good.
Smart.
Move.
Very smart, in my opinion. People are always looking to go to the movies that weekend and Christmas weekend. Never fails.
And it'll be like because that's such a good movie to be like a holiday-based movie.
Everybody's going to be home.
Yep. It's like a feel-good.
A family film. Yeah. They were so smart with that release date.
They sure were.
Do you have any topics for the week?
I don't really think I do. It's been kind of a weird.
I know. I haven't had a lot going on after so much that went on last week with Halloween and everything. It's like this week has been a little more
mellow.
Yeah.
There hasn't been like a lot of the celebrity stuff's been dry.
I know.
So, anywho.
No big news.
No.
All right. Well, we'll just truck right along.
Oh, wait. There was couple spottings that we saw. We saw Mia Goth and Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, with their child.
Yes, that's some kind of Halloween-y thing. And then we saw Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly for Halloween.
Yes, we did. They were fully dressed up.
We were like,
I know. Our little like radar was going off.
They're together.
I know. It was just, I don't know why. I'm just so obsessed with both of them.
I know.
They're just fascinating.
They are, because it's like we used to get more of them and now we get none of them and we have like no idea what's going on.
Well, and it's mostly too that we love Megan and Mia, so we just like want to consume as much of them as we possibly can.
It's like, what do their kids look like?
I know.
Psychos.
I know.
Then like the body language between them and their significant
others. Are they holding hands? Are they smiling at each other?
No, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, so that was fun to see them.
I know, we're like, ooh.
I know. We loved it. Loved it. Okay, guys, it's no secret that Hannah and I have a sweet tooth, but we hate the guilt that we feel after we've binged on some of our favorite cookies, donuts, or other treats. So that's where Dough comes in. Dough is an edible cookie dough company that also has donut holes and some delicious chocolate hazelnut spreads that you can eat and not feel so guilty afterwards. These treats are made with extra ingredients that are good for you, gives you extra energy, makes you focus more, and the best part is that they are vegan and gluten-free, which is so amazing and something that you don't find all the time. And sometimes when you get vegan or gluten-free products, they taste vegan and gluten-free, but these dough, cookie doughs, and donut holes do not skimp out on the flavor, and they are so delicious. We have tried the cookie dough raw and baked, and it's good either way. And one of our favorite new donut holes are the collab donut holes with Chamberlain coffee, and it's the cinnamon sugar. And these are just so amazing. You want to eat them with your favorite cup of coffee in the morning. They're just so delicious. And the best part is that they come with some extra vitamins in there to, get your day going and help you focus a little bit more. So if you want to try these vegan, gluten-free, and delicious products, you can go to Eat Dough, and that's spelled DEUX.com to place an order. And if you use the code WaterBottle15, you can get an extra 15% off of whatever you order. That is dough, spelled DEUX, and use WaterBottle15 for 15% off. Well, should we go into the OC finale?
Sure.
It feels a little weird because, now us being a week behind, nobody cares. But it's like we're fully going to be in the reunion for the next 3 weeks. And
they're doing 3 of them?
I'm assuming, just based on the way that based on Bravo's history, it seems like this is going to be a 3-parter. And the trailer for it at the end of this finale episode, they seem to pack everything in there and make it seem like it would be dramatic. Whether it will be, who knows? But so this finale episode starts where we find out that Shannon took a separate flight home from the rest of the ladies back from London, which I found to be very comical and childish, but that's typical Shannon fashion. And she continues that throughout the episode.
Pretty much.
Jen, so did I blink and miss something where they shared how long it was between the end of last episode when they left London to where this one picks up?
No, I thought that too, where all of a sudden they were at their houses.
Yeah, and then Jen's after London we went to the Bahamas. I'm like, what? How much time did they?
Yeah, no, I didn't think they.
Okay, so I didn't miss anything.
I don't think so.
So that's when Jen shares that she got engaged in the Bahamas, and that we saw some footage of that, which I'm like, were cameras there? Was that home footage?
I don't get when they decide to go do something.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't believe they wouldn't want that, part of the...
And I can't believe Ryan
that's what I mean.
That.
Those two wouldn't want that, on there.
Camera. So, but the video that they shared didn't seem poor quality.
It didn't seem like the Bravo cameras were there.
Yeah, so I don't know. And then they kind of get together and are talking. Shannon, Jen, Gina, and Emily are axe throwing, and they're kind of just recapping stuff. Tamra and the other girls are doing the same somewhere else. I don't even know where they are. And then Tamra and Alexis get together and they discuss that Alexis has also been ring shopping, which we now know that she is engaged to Johnny J. And we get another Johnny J and Alexis confessional.
Mm-hmm.
So he is back in after not being in for a while. Then we move into the kids segment of the show where Jen has a conversation with her bratty son. Now everything's fine.
He's testing his limits.
The fact that Jen was like, do you think I've been doing a good job of respecting your boundaries? And he's like, yes, things have been getting better, Mother. I suppose I'll stay. I'm like, my God.
I know. Some of that stuff just makes me, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I know.
And if I was on camera, I would never want to see that footage of me as a teenager on camera.
Be so embarrassed. Especially something like that.
I know.
Yeah, I'd cringe. Heather is with her son, who is such a cutie. Mm-hmm. And Tamra is with her daughter, who is apparently now making music.
Yep.
good for her. I mean, whatever. The song that was playing sounded kind of like Billie Eilish-esque, you know? And then Katie is with her daughter, and this relationship to me is just bizarro. Like, as we go forward in this episode and the stuff with Emily gets brought up again, and they have a confessional together, and they're basically like, that's right, girl. Like, you tell them. Like,
didn't she have her when she was young?
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's like, feels like that would be the dynamic.
But it's like weird when then she has other kids, though, too.
Yeah.
You know? And then when you're on a reality show and your daughter is like playing a part in stirring the pot, it feels so weird to me.
Yeah. I feel like that's probably how they are
in reality. Then
so this is a normal.
Yeah. You're right that it is very common for young moms and their daughters to be like that. They also say about the Korea trip, which I guess we're not getting on camera. And
that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, but I wanted to see.
I know. I think it would be cool, even if we just were there with her and then we just didn't see like we just saw like where they're like, she's talking about it and then we're seeing like pictures or something.
Yeah. Or if they did a cast trip.
Yeah.
And then she did her own thing for a couple days. And then at the end where they do that weird Instagram thing, which I really didn't like either.
I didn't like it.
I found it hard to even like read what the captions were. I hated that. But it says that as of, when they wrapped that filming, they still haven't gone to South Korea. And we don't follow Katie, I don't think. So I don't know, I guess, if they have gone or haven't. Right. But I feel like we would have heard something about that. We have an emotional moment between Gina and Travis straight up is like, I don't like this situation. Like, it makes me sad. And Gina's getting emotional, but she finally comes out and they're kind of more honest that seems to be about Travis's ex-wife.
That is like, I guess probably in hindsight, she's probably like, maybe we shouldn't have like moved in together and all that before you had all this figured out, because now it got complicated where you're like splitting up the family.
Right. I mean, that's where it just, honestly, like it gets messy when you're involved with somebody who is separated or just going through a divorce.
I know, because you almost want to be like, and obviously like some divorces can last like years, but it's like, I know it'd be hard for me to want to like get into something like that before it was finished. Like, finish that, get that drama done, and then we can pick back up.
Like to fully go in and move in together. Especially when kids are involved.
Yes. And you're like making kids. I wonder what that timeline is. Like when he was separated to when they got together.
Yeah, and we don't know because we didn't really watch for a little bit. So we missed kind of the beginnings of. But I do know that I think Gina was on originally with her ex-husband.
Yeah, that's what I was under the impression of that too.
So I don't feel like it's like a long time.
Right.
But who knows?
It's expensive out there, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, if even if they've only been together for a couple years, it's like that still is a long time to not have a divorce settled, and not at all, it doesn't seem.
Right.
Then we go to the tacky bridesmaids party that Alexis is throwing for what's her name? Jen. Yeah, for the engagement. I thought that was a fun little theme.
I know. I think that stuff's cute when everybody does it right.
Some people clearly just wanted to look
beautiful.
Cute. Yeah. They have Shannon, of course, yet again with the physical comedy of getting in the van with Vicky and not wanting to wrinkle the dress. Like, come on. We've been there, done that with you. And we already saw like Kim Kardashian do it for the Met Gala.
Right.
You don't need to do it for this tacky bridesmaids party. When you told me that Joe was on here, I was like, there's no way it's the original Joe.
I know. I'm like, what? is she doing here?
That was so random.
I know. I thought so too. And then they're like, no, like we all know each other.
And
still.
they did.
I know. It's like, oh, okay.
They were literally like, Joe, hugs all around. Yeah, that was crazy.
I just remember like on the when that show was starting to come out, they had I just remember I had a magazine and it'd pop up on the back and it was like the Real Housewives. And I was like, oh, it's the Real Desperate Housewives. I'm like, she's Gabrielle.
Yes. Yes.
But I kind of liked her, but wasn't she only on for like 2 seasons?
Yeah, she wasn't on for long. And then we saw like the crumbling of her and Slade. He's such a freaking deadbeat. He is. Seems like she's doing well now. They said she's so married. I know she looks good. Yeah. Katie has to do her stupid I'm so young dig at everybody and be like, well, I was like a toddler in the 80s. Like, do you think these women wore actual vintage dresses from their closets? Are you kidding me?
Except for Emily.
But that was like her actual wedding dress.
Which was weird.
I know, which I guess I get why that was saved. Of course you'd save that, but it was funny.
I know, I'm like, don't you get it like
preserved
and then just whip it out?
Did you do that with your dress? Oh, you did?
I think my mom did it.
Because I've heard, I mean, this is from like a long time ago, but people would be like I'm talking decades. People would be like, yeah, I got it preserved and it yellowed, and I didn't get it preserved and it didn't. And it's like, well, how are you supposed to know? And are you going to pull it out and wear it again? Like, probably not.
I know. It's kind of like one of those weird things, like you keep it for sentimental.
You just keep it in the box.
Literally.
I guess it's like fun, you know, when someday if you have like a daughter, then you can show them.
Right. Like,
if you had a daughter and they wanted to incorporate your dress into their wedding dress, would you let them cut up your dress?
Ooh, probably.
Isn't that a weird thing?
I know. I'm like, but at that point,
you're clearly
I'll be like
not
50.
And it doesn't matter anymore.
50, 60. It's fine.
You got the pictures anyway. Like, it doesn't look as good as it used to all these years later.
Literally.
Yeah, that's like such a conflicting thing though, because sometimes it's like, oh, you want it, but why? Why do you want it? You know? Especially some of the ones that are from like the 80s or early 90s.
I know. I wonder how well like our generation's wedding dresses will age.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll still be like classic versus like poof sleeves.
So like easily
even like
identifiable.
My mom's wedding dress to my stepdad, I think it could still work today.
Mm-hmm. But that was a little later in the 2000s.
So I'm like, maybe mine would still.
Yeah, I mean, I think yours is classic, but they probably thought that in 89 too, you know?
I wonder if they did, though. I wonder if they're
really
like
thinking about it.
Wonder if they just knew and it was okay.
I know.
I think it's so funny when they're like, I was bridesmaid in the 80s and you had to dye your shoes to match the dress.
Those satin shoes. So funny. I know they still do that though, because in a couple of the weddings that I was in, that was discussed, and luckily we landed on just a nude heel.
Yeah. Like, let's just do nude. It is kind of a weird thing though to like find if it's not a nude to like match a shoe, especially if it's like a random color, like if it's like burgundy,
or like a sage green.
Yeah. It's like, what do we do with the shoe?
Yeah, I know. And then you don't want somebody to go rogue and go with a wild shoe,
right? Or like silver. Everybody else did silver, and
you've got black. Like that would be crazy. So getting back to that, the Joe thing, she used to work for Ryan. I'm like, how small is this place?
I know, literally. But they say that all the time. They're like, it's a small town. I'm like,
I guess
sure
so.
is.
Gosh darn it. Yeah. She's like, yeah, he used to be my boss when I was like 20, when she was really young, like 24 5 or something. I don't remember what she said. Tamra tells Gina that she stopped drinking allegedly, and I'm like, well, this is just for the show, because at this point you're gonna come off horribly. So
damage is done.
And I don't know if that still is the case or not.
I thought she was just talking about for like events.
Yeah, I mean, which would be smart.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we move on to the major confrontation with Emily confronting Katie about everything that was said allegedly about her kids and Heather. What did you, I don't remember what we said at the time, but like, did you find any merit in this at all?
I don't know, because it's like, I just think it's just uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable with it, because it's like, no one's going to think their kid is lying.
Right.
I mean, clearly, I think there was some kind of conversation between all the kids, but I don't know what it was and whose fault it was. And then like,
yeah.
Or
and
if it's even a fault.
Right.
Like, I just think we're making too big. And then it's like, also like, both Emily and Katie have had a conflict with Heather. So I don't think it's that weird that their kids would kind of know it. And then Heather getting like so shocked about it. And like, obviously I'd be like, why are you talking about your kids to me? But like, it also makes sense.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the thing that was besides them bringing this up at all,
right?
I think the oddest part was just how, okay, if Emily, or if, what's her name, Kylie did say something, that's weird. But also if the boys did and then she kind of joined in, that's weird too.
Right. The whole thing's just, I don't know.
Okay, like, I
don't think we need to be talking about it. I don't think people need to be mad at the other people's kids. I don't think they need to be talking about it in front of Heather. Like, Heather shouldn't know that.
I didn't like any of that. I thought it was just... And then Katie has had it out for Heather this whole season, so it kind of just makes me cast a little bit of doubt on everything that she is saying, because she clearly... like doesn't care for Heather or is jealous too. I don't know.
Yeah, but then it's like kind of the same with Emily too after the big explosion. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, it just makes sense that they were talking about her to their kids.
But it just never should have been brought up to everybody else.
It's just murky when you're talking about your kids talking crap about another house.
Right. And then it's like so you're throwing your kids or somebody else's kids under the bus. Like, really, you want to do that to a 9-year-old?
Right. And then I'd be scolding my kids. I'm like, you better not repeat what I said.
Well, then the like damning evidence for Katie was then she's like, well, I talk about grown-up things with Kylie because she's older, but my younger, I don't even know what the youngest one's name is, Langdon or something weird like that. She's like, he doesn't know. Flashback to them at the dinner table, him fully being Heather's mean. Was she mean like she was for the 1 millionth time? It's like, okay, seems like you do talk about it with him, actually.
Right.
Like, that's just weird to me too. Like, it's one thing your kid overhearing something, but then for him to fully bring it up in a conversation at the dinner table, that's weird. Heather obviously is very heated and reactionary by this whole thing. She just does not like Katie. She's totally over it. And then whatever, that kind of dissipates. Then we moved on to some stuff with Jen. I think she was talking about like the Tamra drama. Did you notice in her confessional where she had that like light pinkish tan dress on? And it looked like there was a whole bunch of weird airbrushing filters on her body, and I was so taken aback. Like, I should have rewound it to watch it again, but I'd never seen it in a... Maybe it was my eyeballs, my contacts.
No, I'm sure they have, because the freaking Kardashians did that.
Yeah,
they blew it out.
With Chris all the time too. Or actually, then they did that. Well, no, never mind. I was going to say they did that with Mary on Salt Lake, but she did that for a post that she did and it wasn't. But it was just weird because, I mean, they might do some editing on the other ladies, but I've never seen it where it was that obvious. You'll have to I mean, it was toward the end if you wanted to go see it. Or if I go back and watch it, I'll screenshot it. Not that it's that big of a deal, but... Then they're all together at the end for their picture. And then all of a sudden... one of them says... Oh, look, you guys have been in the same room the whole night. And
instigating.
And Tamara literally just said, it's fine.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, did they cut something out?
They must have because, well, maybe not. That's what I thought too. I was like, what just happened? Why is she mad?
She's activated.
Towels off.
She's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm trying to heal and set boundaries. And then she storms out and she's like, I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm like, did we miss something?
I know. And then Tamara's like, I don't even have to say anything. And she leaves.
Which maybe Tamara didn't say anything then.
Yeah, it was weird. And they were all like,
oh, Shannon, why does she always do this? And then we come to the other kind of funny part where she randomly runs into Katie's husband, Matt, and she's like looking for somebody to be her ally. But he kind of just agrees with her. It's like, yeah, maybe it is time for you to walk away, which is what she was saying she was doing.
I know. I don't know if, because when I was listening to Watch What Crappens and they didn't really touch on this that much. They were just making fun of Shannon being like, ha, 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 ha. But I started thinking about it when they were talking about it again. And I'm like, did she think that he meant for her to walk away from him? Because why was she like, how dare you?
She was totally...
You don't know me for you to say that, and you don't even know me. And he's like, you walked over here.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. And just seemingly randomly started talking, which I don't even know if they've talked the whole season.
I know, besides a hi.
Yeah.
And she flips out and she's like, your husband is despicable. I don't even want to say what he said to me. She's what?
But before that, the couple of the girls are in the house and they're like, come on, let's go back out. And they've got her arms around her and she goes, no, take your arms. I don't want to look needy. I'm like, Shannon,
I know, you were just needing up to somebody else's husband.
Yeah. That ship has sailed. And then Katie doesn't really react much.
No, because I think she's like, wait, what'd he do?
Because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
He told me that I needed to walk away. She doesn't even say it, though.
Yeah.
At least that we didn't see that she said it.
And then they have that weird little Instagram ending, which I just liked it when they would do.
And Johnny J shows up.
Oh, yeah. Johnny J
but
shows up.
He doesn't come in. It's
All
fine.
he did was come to pick up Alexis. And they made a huge deal of it. But I liked when they did it in the past, where they would just have the screen, the nice little screenshot. And then they have a nice blurb.
Yeah, about what's going on.
This was a weird...
I know, and it was scrolling.
Yeah.
I was like...
But the blurbs were nothing.
I know, it was and I had to
really look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hated it. I didn't like that at all. And then we flash forward to 3 weeks later, and the crap is hitting the fan.
And we get about 3 minutes of it.
Yes.
And that's it.
And half of that was the confessionals from some of the other ladies. And then we hear about those lawsuits that were brought up with Ryan and his bookie friend. And I mean... I have to say, I think it was a little bit harsh for all the ladies to be like, she's so dumb. Who could be dumber? She's an idiot. She's so stupid. I think that was unnecessary. But also, this is a glaring red flag.
No, but she's already invested all this. They're not breaking up.
No, there's no going back.
It's too late.
And this is probably the only time I'm ever going to say this, but I think Gina hit the nail on the head when she said that I think Jen is kind of thinking back on how she kind of blew up her marriage, walked away from that for this guy, kind of, you know, I don't want to say ruined her family, but fully displaced her family, caused a lot of financial burden. And now for it to not work out with him, it's like, wow, well, was it worth it? You know, how do you leave?
Right. It's like, you're not going to.
Yeah. So I feel bad for her. And then she like cries and it's like, oh, I'm the one that messed it up. Like, I don't know what to do. But then we know that they're still together. And even though the charges didn't stick with Ryan, I still just feel like it's...
Oh, he's definitely slimy.
And don't you agree with the saying that you're the company that you keep?
Yeah, it's slimy.
Yeah.
Something's going on, but
I don't know if we'll find out what it is anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think he dodged a bullet on this
and
one.
he's definitely cleaning up his tracks.
Yes, for sure.
I was a little too close for comfort.
For sure. So we'll see. Poor Jen. And then as we said, the reunion, the trailer for it, it's just a lot of yelling back and forth. Everybody seems to be mad at everybody else. And...
well, they were pretty brutal to each other this season.
They were. I do wonder, you know, we talk about like it's not always fun just to see like such hurtful conflict with ladies and stuff. But I do wonder that if you're in that type of environment, especially if you've been in it for a few seasons, I think that you would be more affected by stuff.
Yeah, but I do think that like, even though the reunions are so intense and stuff, but it's like, how many times do we wish we could just like get that confrontation out? And even though it's super intense and sometimes that's not always the best, especially if you're like repaired relationships with people and then you're going and bringing stuff back up that you didn't know they say, and how hard it would be to hear and watch the stuff that people say about you. But it would be like if you could just freaking let it out.
I know, wouldn't it be a little therapeutic?
I know, you think it would be.
Yeah.
And that's maybe sometimes why we're like, how are they friends again? It's like, well, they got to yell it out and they feel better.
And then they made up. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. And you also always have those moments where you realize, oh, I should have said this.
I know.
I have the perfect response. Well, the reunion is the ideal place for that.
I know, because you can come back with your comeback.
You can have receipts. You can, I mean, it's ideal.
I know, right?
So we'll see. We will go into that next week, and then we'll just have a couple more weeks left to OC. It's felt long, but overall, like, I have enjoyed this season.
Yeah, it's not a bad season.
It was way better than last season.
I like the dynamic of the castmates right now. Like, I think there's a good balance of like intense ones and not as intense ones.
Yeah, leave it the way it is, I think. You know, don't.
I know. I actually wouldn't even be mad if they brought Katie back for another season.
Me either. I
think it's like a good... I don't know. I'd like to see her do another season.
She doesn't bring a lot, but she's not horrible in my opinion.
No,
so,
and it's kind of like... I kind of like her and Jen as like friends.
Yeah. I would be interested in seeing more and see where that goes with her for another season, and then evaluate after that.
Yes.
So, well, any final thoughts here?
No, except for like on that, or just in
general.
How are you feeling about the book?
Oh, yes. Men have called her crazy. Well, I'm not sure what to write down for notes.
I know. I wrote down it was hard to understand the format at first, and so I just started writing stuff down. But then once I got towards like the last fourth, I was like, okay, I'm not writing.
Did you finish it in a day?
2 days.
Okay, yeah, because you really blew through it. But at work, you can.
I know, and I had it turned up pretty fast.
Yeah. It's just a lot of rambling.
It's kind of,
I guess.
it's kind of like I think I sent you this where I said that the tone is very juvenile.
Mm-hmm.
Not that what she's saying or like the stories she's saying are
childish.
Yeah, it's the tone of it. It's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not what I
thought it was going to be at all. And yeah, I mean, thus far, I can't say I'm enjoying it.
I know. I think I'm still digesting it, but I don't think I like the.
Yeah.
Just a warning.
So that's a little preview of book club for this month. We'll see. Maybe after we let it soak in, our thoughts will change, but I doubt it. So, but I think I'm like getting almost like a third of the way through, but I started it late, but I'll finish it on time. No problem. I might bump it up to like 1.5. I was at 1.25 right now.
I was at 1.4.
Oh yeah. There we go. I might have to blow through it. Yeah. Well, do you have a recommendation for this week?
Go to the Mansfield Reformatory.
Okay.
Now you have to wait. Do the Halloween one.
Here.
Or you can just go for the tour because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, do the tour. I'm just gonna do that too because I did not think of a
I don't mean.
So that's a great one, Hannah. And we'll link the Christmas thing if anybody's interested in that. But yeah, I actually have never toured it either, so it's something that I want to do in the future, just a normal tour.
And if you're into the Shawshank Redemption movie,
yep, filmed there. They had little cardboard cutouts of them in the windows. We could see them when we were
and they
waiting.
have them like the scenes too when you're like going through it.
That's cool.
It's fun.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to us another week. Don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating. If you have time, give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would really help us. And tell your friends. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.